Hey everyone, this is Daveybird, and I've got a crap ton of new clay action figures and fan art figures I would like to show you. So stay tuned and sit tight. Okay, so look at this. Bird Obsession number 1, Falco. And as you can see, obviously his legs are a little more muscular than they normally are. Because I want to make him look more badass, more like a superhero or something. And here's his backside. And part of the design for this figure comes from Star Fox Zero, and then part of it is from Smash Brothers Brawl and 4. Like his head shape and his eyes, also the fact that he has no crotch strip, are from Star Fox Zero. And his base outfit is pretty much like Smash Brothers Brawl and 4. And I'm starting to use a new technique for my clay figures. Aluminum foil armatures. Posable arms, posable legs, posable head, stays together most of the time. Now, you might have noticed Falco's legs, or his crotch in his legs, came off a little bit. We can obviously fasten that together, and the reason why they came off a little bit is because, number one, I didn't fasten it together, but number two, because I made him have interchangeable legs. Hold still, Falco, hold still and let me give you more awesome lower half. So yes, he has big, thick, ripped, roided drumsticks. And here's the backside. And yeah. Interchangeable, still posable. You do a lot of customizations with clay. That's why I like it. That's why I want more people to be doing it. Have a big community. Maybe I can make a forum one day, and people can share their clay fan art creations and figures and tips and tricks of the trade and all that kind of stuff. I'll show you my tricks of the trade in a little bit, but first I've got another figure to show you. Look who it is. Look who it is. It's Bird Obsession number 2. Cyber Peacock from the Megaman X series. Now right off the bat, you know this is a very intricate figure. Like the designs on his equipment and his trunks and his boots and everything is just really detailed and colorful. And then look at this. He has really accurate and good looking and big peacock tail feathers. Now you're asking, how the hell did Daveybird get to make tail feathers that big and that good and that crisp out of clay? Well, here's the answer. I didn't. I actually made it out of cardstock paper. Cardstock is thick paper. And see, look, I I'm actually, sometime I'm going to make a backside to his tail feathers so that they look way more accurate. This was just a mock-up to see if the technique worked. One of the few times I've ever done cardstock, like, peacock tail feathers. Another time, I did it on Lord Shane, like a few years ago. And another thing is, I accidentally made this a full body armature figure, and you can't interchange the legs, which is why I'm probably going to make another one with interchangeable legs, but you can still swap out his head. Same head, because it took a lot of work. Because I was going to make like a bare-legged version of him. Orange legs like Falco. And yeah, they're not going to be muscular like the Falco custom legs I showed you, because for some reason muscular legs fit Falco, Daveybird, and even Shin better than Silver Peacock. I don't know, I guess CP is a little too petite for big muscular legs, and the other three, quite frankly, seem a little more tough. And so, yeah, this, believe it or not, coming from Daveybird, this is odd, but this is probably the thickest CP legs are ever going to get from me. But yeah, still, it's an awesome figure, and I hope to build on to it in the future, because I'm actually keeping these figures probably for the rest of my life. I'm going to update them whenever I need to. And also, obviously I'm going to make more, and I can do more figures now and make them more permanent. And God, I used to hate the aluminum foil armatures. You know why? Because whenever I would reuse clay, part of the clay would stay on the armature, and I would be losing clay. Well, now I'm not reusing it much anymore, except for sometimes. You know why? Because up until like mid this year, I lived about 30 minutes away from my local brick art material store. But now, I only live about 5 minutes away. And so, I can go there way more often and get more and more clay, because it don't cost much. About $3.75 per 1 pound block. I can probably make as many permanent figures as I want to, and I could keep them all. And I can even sand them up too, because I know how to use like a block of white or silver or black clay and sand them up on it and make them have different poses and stuff. Really badass. And so yeah.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Look who it is, look who's back, look who's higher quality. Daveybird Obsession number 3, my very own online self, Daveybird Randall. In all of his bootylicious, voluptuous glory. And right off the bat, you might notice a couple of things different about him. Number one, he's got an LCD watch, which I also have. I'm trying to make him reflect me better. And then another thing is he has tail feathers, which are removable. Now, both of these new features are going to be implemented on his Daz Genesis 3D model. I made of them pretty soon, in probably a few weeks. The watch, I'm either going to model myself or download one for free off of SketchUp's 3D warehouse and convert it to where Daz can read it properly. And then the tail feathers, I've got Falco's Brawl tail feather model, and I just need to color it red and parent it to Daveybird butt, which I believe I made a Cardinal Falco for Brawl, and so I can just use that texture. And I might even give Daveybird Falco's head with that Cardinal texture, just for kicks. See how it looks. It's not going to be his permanent head. He's still going to mainly use the head I made, but just to experiment, like a what if. Because I would love to see him with the Falco style head. And so, on to the next figure. He's cute, he's tall, he's adorable, he's intelligent. My current favorite reptilian obsession and favorite Koopaling, Iggy. And I believe this is one of my best, like Bowser Jr., Koopaling style Koopa figures yet. Yeah, I had a little bit of an issue with the wristband and the hand coming off. And of course the head, that sometimes comes off. Posable and stuff. Ah, God, really? Not again. This time it happened, son of a bitch. Okay. So yeah, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take the rear of his shell off and smooth his head to the back of it. And then the shell will probably act as sort of a clamp to keep it in place. Here we go. I'm going to move down a little bit. Much better. And yes, he's Anthro, and yes, he's Kirby. Why? Because I freaking can. And I just like Kirby characters. And so, here's his front, here's his back. Once again, as you may know by now, some of my characters' legs are lopsided. Let me see if this is better. Seeing it. There goes the shell. I need to like adjust the legs a little bit, maybe make them like more spread apart. Yeah, here we go. A little bit better. Now backside is a little bit better, even though I think part of it has to do with like the butt cheeks and them being uneven. Hold on. See, yeah. This one needs to be, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to let you see his front for a little while. I'm going to fix this. This looks a little better. See, look. More even. I did the spiky wristbands and spikes in the shell, and I think I did a better job with the spikes than most other times I try to do them. For a while, I was like, fuck the spikes. and just gave him flat shells. But now I think I got it down a little more. And what's cool about him is that I actually mixed yellow and orange clay to make his body tone, and also I mixed green and a little yellow to make his hair tone. See, look. Yeah. One day I can make the heads look more official. They're better than they used to be about 15 years ago. And so, yeah. So, he is probably the tallest figure, or Falco might be the tallest, I don't know. Between him, Falco, and Daveybird, the rest are pretty short. So, yeah. Iggy's telling you, stay tuned, look, and wait for the next figure. Okay, look everyone, it's everyone's favorite high school girl, Haley, originated by me, Daveybird, and in clay action figure form. Like I say many times, she's an 18-year-old senior. She is legal. I know a lot of people who are 18, heck, even 50, who look real young. So yeah, she is no exception. Here's her backside. I'm thinking about actually adding a backpack to her as an extension to this figure. Maybe making her legs a little bigger and stuff like that as well. Redoing her feet, redoing her flip-flops and everything. The eyes right now are quite big. Enhance the cartoon effect, because she's like a cartoon human. I might shrink him down a little bit. She's got a little mouth. I don't know if you can tell really. Let me see. Yeah, see, you can see a little bit of where I made a slit for a cute little smiling mouth. She's got, let's see, flip-flops, a skirt, a tank top, and a headband. And she's got blue, I mean not blue, but magenta toenail polish. And now for all you pervs out there wondering, is her skirt a solid blue, or is it like a real skirt and there's something under it? Well, we'll see. Yes, there is something under her skirt. Now, you pervs are probably asking the next question. Why the hell does she wear granny panties? Well, mainly because I'm trying to be at least kind of appropriate, and because I like that being worn under a skirt than, say, a thong or something. Partially because when I was a kid and I played Dead or Alive for the Dreamcast and the Xbox 360 and stuff, that's what it looked like they were wearing underneath their skirt. Like a lot of the female characters were like that. And so I guess it was kind of a throwback to that. And so yeah, my next video, or in the next few videos, I might show enhanced versions of some of these figures. Like one time I made a real badass Falco where he had like shoulder plates, and they also have like jetpacks coming off of his leg and jetpacks coming off of his shoulders, and LCDs on either side of his sleeves, and just a lot of stuff. I might have make him like a arm cannon sometime, like Megaman or Samus or something. I can do all that kind of crap sometime. Okay, so on to the next figure. Hey, look everyone, it's Brenda Parperton. That old curvy fox lady from Fur Affinity and DeviantArt that Daveybird made. Okay, so some of you might know her storyline, some of you might not. She is an older, rich lady who prefers things clean and everything done right. And she loves her corsets and other like fine living things, whatever. Like her mansion and all that kind of stuff. But now, I'll tell you more about her character design. She was kind of based on Thorough Kangaroo, the version of her from the 2008 movie iteration of Horton Hears a Who. You can especially tell this by her face. The eyes need a little work. I actually watched that movie back in 2008 and I didn't even know she existed. Didn't expect her to look that good, and ended up for some reason having a crush on her. You know, I was younger back then and I didn't know what to do with myself. She actually reminded me of Crystal from Star Fox, who I also liked at the time. And so then I started trying to make a character based on her, and I eventually came up with this, with Brenda, around 2010, 2011, and I just simply called her the Pepper Fox. Didn't give her a name until like 2014 or so. And also you could tell she's sort of based on Rouge from the Sonic series. Like, because of her curvy body that is made up of mostly skin rather than fur over skin. And here's her backside. Her shoulder blades are way too defined, I guess. What's cool about this figure is that you can actually take off the lacing of for corset. And so look, there's her bare midriff, her belly button, whatever. And so yeah, there's Brenda one more time. So yeah. Next up, I'm going to be showing you how to better improve your clay figures using some techniques I've discovered. And they're really cheap. Buying all this stuff probably costs you under $10. Under $5 if you get lucky. Like go to Dollar Tree or someplace. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so you've heard me talk all throughout this video about aluminum foil armature. Okay guys, so you've heard me talk all throughout this video about aluminum foil armatures. Well, I'll show you how they work. Now first, let's say we're going to make interchangeable arms or legs. You just roll it into a rod and then you bend it and then you put clay over it. You can swap it out with whatever one you want. You can also make like a small aluminum foil crotch section or whatever that has a little stick that you can stick into the body, the torso, so it will stay, kinda. You can also, like, of course, seal it with a rim between the crotch and the torso. And also, here's how you make a full body armature. Let's just say their arms up here. I don't have enough aluminum foil for it right now. Sometime I might make one more detailed, like a tutorial more detailed about it. But what you do is you put the legs in between the crotch, you put the arms in between up here, keep it steady, and then you bend. And you should be able to move the arms and legs all over the place, then put the clay on it. And so there's your armature. It is not $130 plus metal armature that comes in a lot of parts and takes forever to build. It's just something you can get at your local Walmart or Ruler or Kroger or heck, even Dollar Tree, probably. Just that simple. Now, another technique I'm going to show you is also just as easy as your local Walmart or Kroger or Ruler or Dollar Tree or anywhere, basically. And so you will not believe what I'm using, what great tool I'm using to make such good looking feet. Da-da-da! A used Crystal Light drink packet. Now, what I'm going to do is, see, I already got my foot shape over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a slit in the toe, and then I'm going to keep doing it until the amount of toes I want is reached. Now, next step is to roll the toes. See, they look pretty good, don't they? Now, next thing to do in order to make it look realistic is you take the Crystal Light packet and then you put it in between the toes and the sole. See, look, looks even more realistic. And then you can even use Crystal Light packet and make some wrinkles too. I don't know if you can see that well, you can a little bit, but yeah. Now I'll tell you the interesting story about how I found out this nifty trick. Okay, so one day I was at work and I was at lunch, I think, and I was looking on my phone and I saw this video about, not video, but like this web page tutorial about how to make better feet out of polymer clay. It showed this person using a couple of clay tools like to make slits in the foot to make the toes, and then doing the same rounding techniques that I showed you. And then the other tool was used for rounding out the arch, which I can do with the number 2 pencil eraser. And I I decided to try and figure out a way to do it with normal everyday items and not spend so much money. And so I usually bring pencils and, of course, my trusty Crystal Light drink packets, and of course a bottle of water, or 2 or 3 or however many I want or need to work with me. And so I kept my Crystal Light packet and my pencil out, and I used it, and it had really pleasing results. Now, a third thing I like using for my clay figures is wire from the woodworking aisle at Michael's. And I believe there are 3 different gauges you can choose from: 22, 20, and 18. The lower the gauge, the thicker the wire. I like 20 because it's kind of flexible but firm, and you bend it quite a bit, but not that much. I wouldn't recommend you using this for a whole armature unless you want the character to stay still and not move it around a bunch, because it'll really damage your figure if you try to move it around or bend the knees or whatever with this kind of wire. You might have to go with a real thin wire for that. I don't use it much anymore except for like really petite lower legs and feet, and especially Sonic character legs, which I might start using thin aluminum foil for because of more flexibility. And also another thing I still almost always use it for today. See, Daveybird, well, his head is posable. You know how I did that? Aluminum foil. I mean, not aluminum foil, but wire and his neck. And it snaps right on. Yeah. So some of these things can be used as joints. Now, I know several other good tips. Like, you can also buy some cheaper clay tools, which I did, and you can pimp them out and customize them however you want to with epoxy putty, plumber's putty. Like, for example, I made a little tip to one of my tools of epoxy putty to make it like sort of a dual carving tool, good for, let's say, soft but ripped muscles, which is what I go for sometimes. And also another technique is using everyday items for texturing. Like, for example, a Walmart bag or a shopping bag for like scales, like plastic thin shopping bags are good for that. And then also an old dish rag or towel for fur or feathers. Like, basically with clay, the sky's the limit. No, actually Rayman's the limit, because the way his design is, you can either make him only only sitting down with his head tucked in, or what else can you do? Maybe driving a car or a go-kart or something? That would look nice. Rayman go-kart. Or something where it's possible to use his body style, his invisible arms and legs. So yeah. So, hope you all enjoyed the show. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope a lot of people enjoyed this. And so, until next time, this is Daveybird signing out and flying out. Good night.